G'day folks, welcome to this wrap up of Tanto Monta. It is the end of turn 5 and the Portuguese have just narrowly managed to eke out an end of turn victory. You can see the victory point markers on the end here. Basically, during the victory determination phase, update each player's VPs. All players then check to see if they have achieved one of the 3 victories below, and the victory is domination. If it is turn 4 or later, and during the determination phase, a player's VP total is less than 48, but at least 7 more. 7 or greater. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, the Portuguese only narrowly, I mean, the French had been closing that gap. They had it to within 2 or 3 during the turn. And then Maximilian arrived and recaptured Metz. So the French were chipped down, knocked down a VP. And then, what else happened to the Portuguese? Where did they also gain some VP? They gained some exploration VP. Let's have a look. This is a bit messy, so bear with me. But here is their player track, and so many VPs from their naval resources. There are 12 VPs, I think. 11 VPs from naval resources, a lot of VPs, 6 more from cartography. So that's 17 VP just from exploring the overseas voyages. All right, so many Portuguese, and look at the purple, pinky Portuguese domination of the overseas, of the world, basically. They have settlements everywhere. They have secured so many cartography. I mean, on this last turn, the Muslims have done pretty well to recapture some of the coastal areas of North Africa. So along here, you'll notice the Muslims under Abdullah in particular have recaptured some of these key locations. Ibn Yahya was on a rampage, so managed to kind of clear out some of these areas. And then the Portuguese brought Braganza down, and with an army from Lisbon combined with Manuel, and they recaptured these areas. They recaptured, that was critical as well. They captured Fez, they captured Tefsa here. So this Portuguese kind of rampage at the end here. Muslims were focusing on the coast, the Portuguese came inland, and it gained them enough victory points for that victory. In any case, I mean, they're only 1, 2, 3 more VPs away from the 48 victory point victory. Really, really interesting. And this is despite losing the sort of, well, in fact, the Beltragianos still hold. So it's really tough. Mendoza is not a great commander. He can't command a great force. He's been trying to reduce these areas, Toledo and Plasencia. They have sort of secured a lot of, there's two Beltragianos forts here, Toledo and Plasencia. The Spanish really struggled. They came last. You can see on the victory point track. They're still, I mean, they just couldn't defeat these and win these civil wars. The Catalans are still in Barcelona and Vic over on the right here with early French help. The fact that the French cleared Metz, won the war against Burgundy so early, freed up so many of their troops, and the French did, I mean, they came second, so they did very well. They are really dominating in Italy with Genoa and Florence and half of Naples. But I think they were caught out a bit. I did not expect the Portuguese to, as I said, during the early stage of the turn, the French had closed that gap in victory points. They were only 2 or 3 behind, and the Portuguese suddenly raced ahead, captured Fez and Tefsa, and just leapt ahead in victory points. So a Portuguese victory. Look, I have a review of this coming soon. I love this. This is absolutely fascinating. I highly, highly recommend it to fans of Here I Stand who aren't concerned about the complexity levels in Here I Stand. It is more complex than Here I Stand, but I think it's a better game, then here I stand. I'm giving you some insight into my review already, but look, I think it's more balanced. I think it's more enjoyable. I think there's so much going on all over the place, particularly in the Iberian Peninsula, but this is the focus of so much. All four powers are here. You've got the French, you've got the Spanish in the center, you've got the Portuguese, and you've got the Muslims around here. There's so much going on. And just look at how many armies there are. And you compare that vision, what you see here, and how many stacks, just in the Iberian Peninsula. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, look, 20 plus armies. It's just amazing. So much going on, so much back and forth, a lot of tension. Yeah, really fascinating decision making. So yeah, look, more thoughts to come in my review, but Muslims last on 25, Spanish last on 25, Muslims on 31. They were starting to do well. You can see they're capturing the French, but the Portuguese just with their overseas domination. And the Spanish, look, they're the biggest disappointment, I think, in this game. They could never get the Spanish situation under control. They couldn't beat the Belgradianos. They couldn't beat the French. Muslims didn't do much in Granada, but they're always there. I think the Spanish need to get Spain under control and then start to explore for turn 3. And the fact that it's now turn 5, end of turn 5, and they couldn't get these civil wars in effect under control, undermined their position. It just made it very difficult their attention was split all over the place constantly, despite the peace with Portugal. So Portugal and Spanish are now, at peace, but yeah, look, tough for the Spanish. Not tough, they just played poorly, I think. I think the Muslims played second most poorly. That's why they're second last. They had some moments. Their piracy never really took off. They just had this constant sort of back and forth with the Portuguese in North Africa around here. They seemed to go every turn back and forth and back and forth. First turn the Muslims won, second turn the Portuguese won, and like this back and forth. And the French were probably the least engaged of all the four powers. There was a lot of fighting around Catalan territories here, but for the most part, they are just taking care of Italy, where the Spanish were pretty quiet because the Spanish have other things going on. Yes, there was a French invasion up here, which went reasonably well. I don't know how long they can sustain these areas. If the Spanish want to retake them, they probably could quite easily. Yeah. So look, folks, that's the end of the full campaign. We get to turn 5. I had already kind of started to move the turn marker to turn 6, thinking it was going to go another turn. Then I realised, the Portuguese have won. It came as quite a surprise. So yeah, thanks for watching, folks. That is Tanto Monta review coming up soon. Bye for now.